And those who have not seen the previous episodes of Zombie City, check the description box. Welcome to Zombie City Episode 4. Keep all the weapons you have here. Shakib gestured to the floor. Without saying a word, everyone started to put down the weapons they had. Captain Ian Morgan has an AK-47, an M16, 4 9mm pistols, 2 grenades, a 15-round magazine, and 2 military pocket knives. Roy has an AK-47, 3 9mm pistols, 10-round magazines, and 2 military pocket knives. Christina has an AK-47, 2 10mm pistols, 3 grenades, 10-round magazines, and a pocket knife, the military ones. George and Lacey each have a 9mm pistol. Shakib has his constant companion, the pocket knife. Larry and Luke also have a pocket knife each. Well, Shakib said, we have quite a few weapons. In addition, we have 5 members trained by the 2 most powerful countries in the world. And a little genius like you, Christina said. Shakib looked at her and smiled. He went back to his previous words. On the other hand, the number of our enemies is 200 or more. Although they don't seem to have any weapons, their entire bodies are weapons. They are finished with a single scratch from one of their nails. So you can understand how careful we have to be. We have to do a lot of commando attacks. He turned to Morgan. Captain, you have the most experience in this matter. This time, you have to take the responsibility. Captain Ian Morgan was happy to receive the responsibility. First, he distributed the weapons among everyone. He gave Larry an AK-47 and a pistol. Luke was given 2 pistols and a grenade. He kept an M16 and a pistol with himself. Shakib was given 2 pistols and a knife. Roy and Christina had their own weapons. George and Lassie also had 2 pistols of their own. Now everyone sat down to plan. After discussing for quite a while, the final plan was made. It was agreed that Captain Morgan would be in front of everyone. Luke and Christina would be next to him. Then there would be Shakib, George, and Lassie. Their responsibility was to make their own safe. On the other hand, Roy and Larry would be behind everyone. They would handle the rear. After making the plan, everyone went inside. They rested for a while. They ate whatever food they had. Everyone took a metal range from the storeroom. These might come in handy. Everyone came to the main door of the floor. They moved the cupboards, chairs, and tables that were placed on the door. They had placed these above the door so that the zombies could not break the door and enter. In addition, they had also attached thick wood to the door with nails. They pulled them open with a wrench. When everything was finished opening, they stood quietly for a long time. The captain and Luke put their ears to the door and tried to listen for sounds. They tried to understand if there were zombies on the other side, but they could not understand anything. Finally, it was decided to open the hatch. Before opening the hatch, Captain Morgan told everyone to be careful. He told everyone to be ready for anything. Slowly, Captain Morgan opened the hatch. Finally, he opened the door. As soon as the door opened, a foul smell hit their noses. They were a little unprepared. However, Morgan, Christina, and Roy were not having much trouble. They covered their noses and mouths with the military masks they had with them. Larry and Luke also covered their noses and mouths with handkerchiefs. Shakib was having the most trouble. The foul smell made his stomach twist. He was about to vomit. Lacey took the handkerchief out of her pocket and gave it to Shakib. Shakib covered his nose and mouth with it. George and Lacey also covered their noses and mouths with cloths. Captain Morgan in front of everyone. Christina and Luke next to him. Behind them are Shakib, George, and Lacey. Behind everyone are Larry and Roy. They looked around cautiously. They saw nothing but bloodstains and pieces of rotting meat on the tiled floor. The elevator is broken. They have to go down the stairs. They moved towards the stairs. They tried to move as quietly as possible, but the sound of their boots on the tiled floor could not be stopped in any way. Pin drop silence. No other sound could be heard except the sound of breathing and the sound of their boots. They were moving with utmost caution. The goal was the stairs. They had almost reached the stairs. There were a few more meters. At that moment, Captain Morgan raised his hand and signaled everyone to stop. They immediately stood up. Morgan saw someone on the stairs. He moved towards the stairs. They stood behind him. Shakib peeked from behind. He saw the hotel staff wearing a blue uniform. He was standing a few stairs down, facing away. He looked like a normal person. However, it was kind of strange to have normal people here. "Hey," Morgan called out in a low voice as he went near the stairs. He tried to attract the staff's attention, but judging by his half-heartedness, it seemed that he had not heard Morgan. Meanwhile, they are waiting eagerly. The environment is so silent that they can even hear each other's breathing. "Hey, are you okay?" Morgan said again. This time, he said it a little louder. The man turned around and looked. For a moment, Shakib saw his face. The right side of his face was missing. He had eaten something, bones without flesh. The jaw was visible. He jumped on Morgan with lightning speed. Morgan did not get a chance to shoot. He fell to the floor under the impact of the zombie. The M16 rifle flew out of his hand. They watched the scene in bewilderment for a moment. Then the sound of gunfire. 2 bullets came out of Larry's AK-47. Both bullets hit the zombie in the head. He fell. Captain Morgan stood up. He picked up the M16 lying on the floor. They ran to Morgan. "Are you okay?" Larry asked. Morgan shook his head. Thank you. You should have been a little more careful." Morgan shook his head again. "It's not as easy as I thought it would be. It's very difficult." "It's difficult." Everyone agreed. Everyone should be more careful. They started going down the stairs. Without any further trouble, they came down to the 7th floor. They encountered 4 or 5 zombies on the top of the stairs. This time, they didn't take any more risks. Morgan blew their skulls off with 1 shot from the M16. In this way, they came down to the 6th floor. The stairs end here. There are stairs again on the other side of the building. There is a hotel on the 6th floor. They have no choice but to enter it. To get down, they have to cross the floor of this hotel. Since it is a hotel, there is a high risk of zombies here. They understand that a big danger awaits them. They crossed the stairs and headed towards the main door. As usual, Captain Morgan was in the lead. Everyone else was behind him. The door was locked. To open it, they needed a key, which they didn't have. They could shoot and break the lock, but it would make a lot of noise. All the zombies inside would come running this way. But there was nothing they could do. To get down, they had to go to this floor, and to get inside, they had to break the door. Morgan and Larry put their ears to the door and tried to understand the situation on the other side. There was dead silence. Nothing could be heard. They stood there for a few more moments. Then Captain Morgan told everyone to stand aside. Everyone stood aside. The captain pointed at the doorknob and pulled the trigger. The knob flew off under the powerful bullet of the M16. The door opened. They looked around and went inside. After entering, they stood quietly for a while and took in the situation around them. The entire floor was in ruins. The chairs and tables are nowhere to be found. Everything is broken. There is blood and rotten meat everywhere. There are also some half-eaten corpses, but no zombies were seen. They quickly started moving towards the stairs. Luke stopped a few steps ahead. He heard something. He stood and strained his ears to listen again. Shakib also heard the murmuring. The many murmurs combined made a humming sound like the buzzing of bees. By the time the others heard it, it was too late. About 50 zombies attacked them from all around. First of all, Larry's AK-47 roared. One by one, everyone started shooting. But they could not stop the zombies. The zombies caught up with them. This time, everyone started killing the zombies with a pistol in one hand and a knife in the other. But they were much more numerous. Besides, they had no fear of being injured. Terrible and violent. At the same time, they started attacking like crazy animals. Shakib, George, and Lassie were in trouble. Due to their young age, they are not that physically strong. Moreover, they do not have military training like the other 5. They started struggling to save themselves. Meanwhile, the other 5 started protecting the 3 of them as well. The number of zombies was slowly increasing. Who knows where they were coming from? They fought hard to protect themselves from the zombies. At one point, a very large zombie came and pushed Shakib. He fell on the tiled floor. The pistol and knife flew out of his hand and fell far away. Before he could stand up, 2 zombies came and grabbed him. The zombies' blood, pus, and rotten flesh got on his body. He was about to suffocate from the smell of the corpse. He tried to push the zombies away with his hands, but their strength was too much. Besides, Shakib has to be careful. If any part of his body gets cut or torn, it's over. The zombie virus will enter his body too. Then he himself will become a zombie. But for how long? His strength is decreasing. He is getting tired. Meanwhile, the others are also in bad shape. Captain Morgan and Larry have also fallen. Many zombies have grabbed them. By now, they may have even bitten them. Christina and Luke can't save themselves from the zombies, so how can they help them? Even then, they are trying hard. Shakib tried to take out his knife from his pocket with his left hand, but he couldn't. He had to hold back the 2 zombies with his right hand, but for how long? His hand was going numb. Meanwhile, the number of zombies was also increasing. Finally, Shakib gave up. He was ready for death. If it came, they wouldn't die. They would turn into terrible zombies, which is even scarier. Check the description to see other episodes of Zombie City.